Like, boys, I'm not kidding. She's like absolutely clueless.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Raleigh, North Carolina for the Call of Duty Mobile 2022 World Championship. We've had 7 series wrap on up, and we're waiting for the final series to close on out for our first round of the group stages. Degon here with Beef Mommy and Bobby. We were going right through it, but we're actually going to hop right into the action with our final first round group stage match. It's Skade versus Almighty. This is one here where Almighty was favored. We weren't sure what to expect out of Skade, and Almighty getting pushed all the way to the brink here at 2-2.
Man, these LATAM teams are just so good, and that's why it's just like so amazing. Babzera gets that one big kill. And now you're watching the Delta stream. If you were wondering, they're the only ones left here, and that's why we're getting a little bit of a spotlight from both of these teams. Really surprised that the scoreline is actually going to be 2-2, knowing very well that Almighty is the #1 in Garena and Skade is the #2 of LATAM.
Babzera is a player that we saw hitting some big snipes in Stage 5 last year, and he's looking to bring that this year as well. 4 kills on the board for him. There are only 2 rounds, and they're putting in the work, but Almighty is not a team to be scoffed at. They got 5 players still up here in Slum Search and Destroy. Once again, this is a very unorthodox search and destroy map. Very, very compact on those bomb sites, and if you can manage to get a bomb down, it's pretty easy to hold off the retake, but that's a very, very big if.
Winner taking on Luminosity, who defeated Nova. Obviously, that means Nova will then be the opponent for whoever loses here, Beef Mommy.
First game 5 of the day. And it's really exciting to see because this is one of the teams that could be OT yet again. Babzera gets that information. Doesn't really quite land the shots though, but he will reposition himself into arches and hopefully getting that information, but none goes to him so far.
Right now, it's definitely a waiting game. Skade doesn't want to force anything. Oh my gosh, but he gets caught off guard by Incendio. Only needed a sliver in that line of sight, and he absolutely shuts it down. That likely going to round out the round for Skade right here. The bomb is down and in a really tough spot to retrieve. Leo's in trying his best to get pushed up right here, but he's going to get spotted out. Does get the kill onto Jeff Pro, but there's Heaven. Trade at hand, and Mihawk left all alone. Going to be able to find Irfan J, but he's still got 2 Almighty players he's got to deal with. But he drops Incendio right there, and now into a 1v1. Heaven and Mihawk! Oh it's a 1v3, but we didn't get to see!
What was it that bad? I'm sorry, let's go! But hopefully in the highlights later on, we do get to see that beautiful 1v3, but oh my gosh, what a shift in momentum, and that is definitely needed by Skade. And now for Almighty, you had the upper hand there, and you just lost that 1v3. What can you do? Full rush comes through from Skade here into that alpha site. Bomb goes down very early.
That's just got to be confidence shaking for Almighty right there. That seemed like the most clutchable round. And you've got the bomb sitting right in front of you. They haven't even picked up the bomb. You don't need to challenge. Just sit back on a head glitch. Absolutely thrown away round, and Skade's going to find a couple to open right here as well. Jeff Pro able to find one trade, and the pressure's on, but Almighty is executing, but just like that, only one player remains. Incendio shut down, and who else? Pabzera coming through with the snipes once again. A 3-1 round lead. This would absolutely be an upset, especially with right now the #1 seed in Garena being Almighty.
Skade doing really well when it comes to that aggressive push, but now it's going to be different. 3-2 split for them, trying to gather that information first, and now that's going to be one player going in for that Bravo site for Almighty. That's going to be Heaven, getting that information down, and they're just going to slow things down just a tiny bit as they go in for the repositioning here through mid. That's a really good split. 3-2 split, and that is going to be able to stop Skade right at its tracks, but then the information finally comes through.
I think a little bit of information for Skade. You can hear the SKS bullets whizzing across. Incendio, that 3 times Rytech, which honestly we haven't seen a whole lot outside of Garena, but he's definitely been able to have a big impact with it so far. Heaven going to be able to find, I believe, deagle shots on the Leo right there. Trade will come through, and now the smokes across. Utility usage is going to be so crucial in this matchup. Down to a 2v2. If you're Almighty, you've got to find a way to close it out. Heaven's going to find one. You still got a Pabzera to deal with, and he's got the bomb in hand. It's going to go down over on the B site. The pressure now on as Almighty desperately trying to avoid another big clutch for Skade.
They got all the lanes covered as Heaven gets that beautiful, beautiful timing. That is COD timing at its finest, and unfortunately for Pab, he was at a pretty good spot, but numbers advantage going in from Almighty.
Yeah, and I like this one from Almighty because you stopped the push early by Skade. Skade just rushed A site in the round previously, and it felt like once Almighty gets a little bit more control, you get to see the class that made them the #1 squad in Garena.
Yep, no question about it. We'll see if they can do that again. Obviously, defending over here on the B site, not an easy thing to do, especially if you get that barrage of utility, but Skade gonna play this somewhat passive. One player floods through the midst of the statue area. Leo and Lynn's gonna find the openers right there. That's gonna put Almighty in a bad spot, but Incendio finds a double right there. He gets traded out anyway. Shut Up left all alone, and man, those remaining Almighty players got shut down real quick.
Leo's in, responded with a 2-piece of their own, and now for Almighty in a very tricky spot as Skade is slowly but surely gaining that momentum for their end, and now it really is going to be very difficult because Almighty getting that bomb carry down. It really looks like they're better when it comes to being passive, and it looks like for Skade, they're so going to be aggressive. And speaking of aggressively pushing in through that alpha, going to Broken, but then they do pay the prices. Irfan J gets that beautiful 2 as Shut Up goes in there for the backup as well. They push back though for Skade, and now that's going to be really big kills coming in from Irfan J.
The one thing that's going for Skade, they've got a lot of players in a lot of different spots. Shut Up reads that perfectly. He's able to find the trade onto Lynn's, and now all down to Leo and Pabzera. Seen some big clutches out of them so far. Looking to make the cross right here. Got players on each bomb site. Jeff just kind of waiting, letting his snipers do the majority of the work right now. And Pabzera not getting any angles to work with. Shut Up's going to be able to shut down Leo. And now a 1v4. We've seen the 1v3, 1v4, maybe not as feasible. Irfan J shuts it down. Now Almighty most certainly still in this one.
3K for Irfan J. That's going to be huge kills for his team and slowly closing the gap against Skade. And now, like what I said, that Skade really does well when it comes to the aggression. They actually pay for that in that particular round. And now we're going in for a full defense going in for Bravo and a very aggressive push coming in from Almighty. It looks like they're going to rush going into Bravo, but that's going to be 3 players that they have to worry about. And Leo Zeta gets 1, but then Almighty gets 2, gets 3, no, gets that 4K. And now all alone, that's going to be you. You have so
go ahead and go down. So Leo's gonna find the opener onto Irfan J, make it a 2-piece. And if you're Almighty, you're thinking back to that 1v3, you don't want it to happen again. This one would be a 1v4. And you gotta think with the bomb down, it just hold hands. You know he's gotta make a push through. You know what side of the map he's on, but still very, very split up right now. One's gonna get spotted out.
God.
And now an opportunity for the 1v4. Leo doesn't have the information on that last player on the inside of Garage. He's gonna go ahead, peek around. But right now, Shut Up, all you gotta do is play the bomb. You planted it perfectly. He gets the information, but no time to work with. Shut Up's gonna go ahead and peek through, but the last shot does not connect in time. Nearly another miracle for Skade, but just like that, Almighty ties things up.
That was beautiful. The way that the bomb was planted was so good for Shut Up in that post-plant situation, and he had all the time in the world to just stop the push, play with time, play with his food, and there was really nothing that Leo can actually do to stop that. And again, that was really clutch for him as well, getting that 1 kill off of Heaven. But yeah, really great post-plant situation coming in from Almighty. Now we're even things up with a 4-4.
I feel like some of these setups for Almighty are just a little bit questionable. They keep putting themselves in really difficult situations when they have big man advantages. It feels like the teamwork just not quite there for them right now, and they get a couple players picked off the start right here. And with Mihawk getting way pushed up in that mid-map area, there is no control, no information, no anything for Almighty right now, and just praying for one of their snipers to find a pick.
Now, speaking of one of their snipers, that's going to be Heaven with the monumental job to try to find someone there. But Shut Up yet again. One more sniper for them. Gonna be going down for Skade. Still very doable for Almighty to go in there for the clutch as Heaven spots and knows very well that one person is there, but Jeffra goes in there for the kill. The Azera goes in there for the trade as well. Still doable 3v2 situation, but 50 seconds left on the clock. A lot of time to play with.
Ooh, and Heaven just not quite enough patience right there. I think he definitely could have found one person peeking over top of that head glitch, but now left guessing once again. Lynn's right outside the door. May have been an audio cue for Heaven right here, but once again playing the waiting game, and that's not where you're going to want to counter up against an SMG. Reads it like a book. Lynn's gonna drop right there. Mihawk's able to take down Jeff Pro in that same breath. And what do you know? Mihawk doing all the dirty work for the squad. Skade retakes the lead.
That was the first round we got to see in a while where everything slowed down. The last like 4 or 5 rounds have all been rushes and someone losing a ton of members and then a cleanup right afterwards. That one we finally got some breath and got to see the class by both squads.
So good. I mean, Mihawk is just really good at clutching up those situations, and now for them, they just need to stay put, because so far so good for them. And now very aggressive going in for Almighty into that Bravo site. Very well that they can go and re-affect it. And now a very important gunfight being won right now into Arches. Mihawk yet again, he's the king of this place. He's been getting so many kills here. And Popzera gets a triple kill. Skade, one more to go, and they will win this best of 5.
Our first Game 5 of the day has definitely not disappointed. And maybe didn't talk enough about Popzera coming into this event. Obviously, I remember him making some big plays. But
remember? The man, the myth, the legend.
He's definitely not disappointed one bit, especially against a team that we expected to be top 3. But just like that, the bounce back for Almighty, making Skade pay. Kind of forcing them into that aggressive push, and now with the bomb going down, they're exactly where they want to be. You still got Popzera alive, you still got Leo alive. Anything's possible, but Heaven shuts down Leo, and now all down to Popzera. He's gonna hit the quick scope to open things up right here. But a 1v5, 1v3, yeah, 1v5, just throw away the phone.
You're pushing it right there, but hey, he definitely made at least one mark on the team, 1 dead, but 5 and 6. Whew, very close to an overtime, and Bobby, it looks like we have a caster curse of just extending all of the games that we actually cast right now. But hey, here we go. One more lifeline for Almighty to try and even things up, and Skade just needs to close this out for 1, but then Almighty getting 2, but then the trades from Skade is also gonna come through, but then a 1v3 situation. Hey, what are you gonna do, Shut Up?
Oof. Skade trying to shut things down before we get to OT right here. Leo's in, very comfortable on that bomb heady, and Shut Up gonna have to make a lot of consecutive reads right here to make things happen. You can see the cross look right here for Skade. Got all their angles covered, and Mihawk's gonna spot him. The hit markers! Oh, he shot him in the foot on accident right there, and that's likely going to be the end of the round. These shots don't connect. Skade coming out on top, showing they 100% deserve to be on this stage, and what I would definitely consider to be our first upset of the day.
Oh my goodness, what a beautiful round coming in from Skade, and I could not believe my eyes when we were actually watching simultaneously from our screens today. But really valiant effort though coming in from Almighty, taking into a game number 5, but obviously just could not rely on that search and destroy, could not respond to that aggression.
Well, the Norwegian organization with the full Brazilian roster coming up with the first definitive upset, not only in a map, but in a whole series, and push down the #1 squad from Southeast Asia. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm very glad we waited for all the matches to complete to watch that one finish on up, because it was an impressive, I guess, usage of grit and grinding that last map on out here, Bobby.
Yeah, there were so many difficult situations that could have very easily gone the way of Almighty, but just sticking with it, not giving up on those individual rounds when you got a 1v3, when you got a 2v4, executing to absolute perfection. Almighty didn't have a counter. I think the map pick probably playing a really big role right there as well, and Skade did everything they needed to.
I was about to say it was the map pick, the slums there. Almighty just struggles because you know them as a very passive team when it comes to search and destroy. They like to take their time, but obviously Skade abused that, knowing very well that being aggressive, they can very well do that as well. But then hey, Pab and also Mihawk did so well when it comes to gaining a lot of the points, but hey, it's going to be a difficult matchup for all these teams today as we finally go into our losers round 1.
Yeah, perfect transition, as hopefully we'll be able to get the updated group stage graphic for you in just a second, because man, we've had a lot of results that were kind of expected, maybe some of them closer in terms of maps than we thought, but generally it's gone the way that we had predicted, except I accept the Influence Kemen and Scars. We weren't sure which way that one was necessarily going to go. But with this upset, I mean, again, it's showing that everyone belongs here, and based on the map, based on the game mode, you might be able to pull out an upset just like we saw.
Yeah, the Latin American region has really showed out so far. We saw a dominant win for Inco. Definitely not a dominant win, but it was a win against a really, really good team. And I'm very impressed by what Skade's been able to do. I actually asked a lot of these players who they felt like the toughest team that they scrimmed while they were in the hotel. A lot of them said Skade. So this might not just be a team that the group needs to watch out for, but maybe the entire tournament.
Honestly, when it comes to Skade, I feel like the #1 and 2 in LATAM is a little bit blurred because during their stage 4 run, they had the most game 5s, very close calls when it comes to search and destroy, when it comes to control, and also hard points. So I'm not very surprised that this is going to be the scoreline that we actually had today in Skade, just bringing it on top against the #1 of Garena. That is something that I never knew that was going to happen.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break so that Almighty have a little bit of time to prep for their lower bracket run, because when we come back, it's all on the line for the teams in the elimination side. They lose, they're out, they win, they continue on in their journey. Make sure you stick around. You're watching the Call of Duty Mobile 2022 World Championship.
Target down.
Lost that round, but it's not over yet. Ready up.